Hey, Planeswalkers, it is one of my favorite days here on the channel. It is tier list day. On top of that, we are cracking Crimson Vow off the bat, and we got to get it started. So I wish you the best of luck in your draft or whatever you're cracking in your packs here today. So appreciate you tuning in. We got a lot going on here. Like I said, one of my favorite things here when we got a tier list, I've been getting through all these decks, wanted to close out Innistrad Midnight Hunt here on Magic the Gathering Arena for you to give us a nice booster into the next set here with Innistrad Crimson Vow. So with that, Planeswalkers, appreciate you tuning in. Flip me that like if you enjoyed today's video. On top of that, if you have a question, if you have a comment, please let me know. Love to hear from you down below, or hop in that Discord server that's in the details along with the timestamps where we will give you the tier list for today, both best of one, best of three standard. We'll also give you some fun insights, observations of those things, which you can also find on my website. And last but not least, kind of close out with a couple of key decks here for you as we look forward and break down Crimson Vow here soon. So with that, Planeswalkers, let's go ahead and take a look at the tier list and appreciate your support as always. Feel free to stay up to date. Lots of great ways to connect down below in the channel, in the description, and lots more coming your way too. So here's what we got going on with our standard best of one November 2021 tier list here. So again, this is the Innistrad Midnight Hunt. This is how we finished. The ones highlighted in black are actually deck lists that I'll just include below in the description for you, but I did not get to a video for you on those this time around, so a lot going on in the household. So with that, here is what we have. Mono white aggro, mono green stompy, Azor's control, mono black control in the tier 1 space. Tier 2, we got Is It Dragons, Is It Turns, Golgari midrange, Selesnya humans, Gruul werewolves, Dimmer control, Is It Delver, and then in our tier 4 space we have Esper Adventure, mono black aggro, Azor's Magecraft, and Azor's Angels. So here the tier list is the best deck towards the top. We work our way down. We're doing 3 tiers and sort of a bell curve in terms of how this works. Now, these decks are relative in and of themselves in the list, but also against the meta. And I look at particularly best of one Magic the Gathering arena statistics from Untapped. So you can certainly check that out. That's down below in the description if you'd like a link to the download the tracker. On top of that, a big piece here is some of the tournament play and those things, and those are things that we host here on the channel, so feel free to tune into those. So that is what we have in terms of best of one. Very heavy. Again, the mono white aggro, mono green stompy, we'll talk about that a little bit later here in a moment. So best of one for you there. Let's go ahead and take a look at best of 3. When we move into best of 3, here's what we got for our November 2021 tier list. Again, mono green stompy at the top. We have Is It Dragons, mono white aggro, Is It Turns. Starting to see John Dragons in there, Boros aggro, Azor's control, Golgari midrange, Gruul werewolves, Dimmer control, Is It Delver, Selesnya humans, Esper Adventure, mono black aggro, Azor's Magecraft, and Azor's Angels. So that is what we have for standard this season and for this month to get you set up for success when we look at Crimson Vow. And I will make sure to have a guide here in the next day or two for you that's going to cover all those things as we always do here on the channel. So this is both the best of one, best of 3 tier list. If you have a question, if you have a comment, would love to hear from you down below, and we'll go from there. So next we have our favorite observations and things that we found. Now, since I did not do one on a monthly basis because we have a lot going on in the household, many of you in the Discord know that, and those of you that are connected and subscribed to the channel also know. So with that, just a couple of key points that I do want to bring up here that I think is very important for us. And I'm actually going to do this time. So for those of you that don't know, I actually post usually on Reddit. I wrote this article for Reddit. And then on top of that, this is on my website, so you can check it out here. Now, I'm going to blow this up more for that article, but I wanted to get you this information. These are my chicken scratch notes. So First off, 2022 linkage. There's a strong deck carryover. This is something that we talk about a lot. In the meta, this is important to see where things were and where do you think they're going to go. Generally, that carryover is pretty big. Now, the difference at rotation here that we got to see was standard 2022. And a lot of those decks that were strong, you can go back and look at the videos that we've done here and stuff that I've talked about. But this is very important to remember. Now, I'm guessing that when we talk about this, we'll talk about it a little bit later. This carryover is going to continue, which is why I'm doing the tier list right now to hopefully set you up for success. Now, we had a couple newcomers to the meta. We had Werewolves, Azor's Control made it towards the end, and then some other fringe decks like Selesnya Humans as well. There's certainly a lot more kind of fun ones that we tried with some Esper stuff. More Esper controls kind of starting to pop in towards the end. We saw some Grixis and a host of other things there throughout. Next, ends of the spectrum. So we got two major kind of dichotomy in terms of decks going on, particularly in this set. We had a very strong aggro and we had a very strong control. So with that, we didn't see a very controlling, I would say, mid-range deck. You could kind of consider, and we talk about this quite a bit, a bridge with mono green, but it's still very quick nonetheless. Next, which is it? So this is strongly important to understand because there is so much going on. We have lots of isits. We got turns, we got epiphany decks, we got dragons, delver, and spells, and a host of other things here in the space, and variations and variants. What's important on top of this was the main two that came out of it was certainly turns and dragons. We saw the Innistrad Crimson Vow tournaments being dominated, or not Vow, sorry, Innistrad Midnight Hunt. I'm excited for today. Tournaments being dominated by a lot of these things, and also quite controversial at times with the Epiphany being under consideration for ban. So we'll keep an eye on that and see if things change. Again, interestingly enough, we didn't see that so much in standard 2022. We saw dragons, but we didn't get these calls that we got coming in and out of rotation for this Epiphany ban. So that's something we'll stay tuned on. Next, we have My Vows. So these are all the cool set mechanics that are coming out. I just like to talk about them here quickly. We'll go into a deeper dive later here on the channel, but you got training, which gives you a +1/+1 on the lower creature that has this. We also have Cleave. It's essentially an up level where you can remove verbiage and send everything, well, remove the brackets and allow, usually hits every creature versus one. We have blood tokens. It's actually blood tokens. So blood tokens here, a new mechanic that's going to allow us to do different things, similar to a lot of the different kind of artifact tokens and stuff that we have here. Still have Day and Night Bound. We have Disturb, which is already there, and Exploit. So for those of you familiar with Exploit and played at Tarkir, Dragons of Tarkir, this was the Silmagar mechanic that was there, so it's fun to see that back, and that was certainly one of the biggest times in my Magic the Gathering play where I actually really heavily got back in, which was a great set. So that's what we had the fetches, I think, back again. Next, deeper we go. So Crimson Vow it is. So far, inclination is going to be enhanced meta. My guess was what we've seen. We've seen some real strong green stuff again, and certainly feel free to hop in the Discord server and come chat with all of us, because we have a thread dedicated to spoilers and conversation in there. We got some fringe strength. I think there's some interesting cards in here in the set that we've seen so far that may add strength to some of the decks, and some new, potentially some new stuff. So mono red was starting to kind of come back in here towards the end. We've seen some goblin decks, but is it maybe dead? We'll see. Vampires, Rakdos aggro, and UW flyers could be some potential things. We may see some strength in mid-range. We have not yet, minus the Golgari one that we did, in my opinion, see some real strong spots there. You need a deck that can really pivot. We've seen some of the teamer stuff, or Wet Gruul also in the space and have some good turnouts with the werewolves. We'll continue to keep an eye and see if those things get strengthened here. So those are the observations for this month's tier list. I do plan to try and get you a Crimson Vow kind of quick hit list relatively fast. Now, one more comment here before we move over on the channel. I'm going to pull this up real quick for you. I have started doing some quick snips in terms of key, fun, interesting stats that's consumable for you very, very fast. So quickly here, I just wanted to pull this up for you so that what we can see, let me get through this. And get your feedback. A lot of you, I really appreciate this on. A lot of good feedback that's been super, super helpful for us here. And a lot of things I want to bring you. So this is really about some quick hits and quick wins for you. Very short snippets of information, highly useful for consumption and hopefully helping you in your game. So I'm going to continue to do these. I'd love to hear your feedback. I've heard lots of things. I don't want to see commons or uncommon. So thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. I wanted to give you that shout out there. And then additionally, on the other one that I ran, you know, not showing just mono white. I'm trying to, I'm being a terrible channel host here, because I should remember who that was. Let's go ahead and I'm going to give you also a quick shout out. Might have been Dan again. So I think so. So we'll leave it at that. And Tullius, as always, bans snow-covered plains. So thank you. That was my first inclination too. So love your feedback on that. Thank you very much again for all your support always, my friends. All right, so let's move off this. We're gonna go straight now and check out some of those key decks. Again, that's the tier list for you. Best of 1, best of 3. Again, let me know if you got questions or comments. Last, don't forget to knock out your quests. They're going to get reset here. We certainly need to do that ourselves and get moving on that. So here's what we got going on in terms of some of these decks here today that I did want to cover and some things that I had a lot of fun with this time around. So first off, we got the top 100 Golgari mid-range deck. This one's by Alex Mixel. Very, very fun. Again, a very strong deck. I crushed the meta with this. Had a clean sweep on the channel. Could be well positioned. We'll see. We're gonna get some strength here again in the green, but we'll keep an eye out on some of these other things that are gonna happen, and maybe shift some things up. A sleeper card that people always forget about is Culling Ritual. This thing just absolutely wrecks stuff. Allows you to continue to play or up level your curve, which is very, very powerful here. Next, we have to absolutely give a shout out to Mono Green Stompy. This variant isn't necessarily the one that I covered. I'd covered one of Rumpty's, but a lot of changes here. This one was about 60+% wins. We saw a natural growth kind of come in over time on the deck. We also have the big Azeka's Chariot and a host of other things here down at the bottom end of the curve that really, really propelled this deck into tier 1. So I know Rumpty was definitely happy about that. Mono Green got its day in the light, particularly between Standard 2022 and then our Innistrad Midnight Hunt. So wanted to give that one a shout out. And then last but not least, we want to take a look at our Is It Turns deck. So Is It Turns and Is It Dragons certainly too, but the big thing here with turns that I wanted to cover with is a couple of different things. Again, the addition of Smoldering Egg, that's also in the Dragons list. We have Galvanic Iteration. This card just breaks stuff. A very, very interesting and big pickup here from the last set. Additionally, what we will find, Memory Deluge, huge in the control deck, so keep an eye out for that continuation. burning down the house, a nice sweeper, but alternative there with the devil creature tokens. Certainly you could sub this for something like a Frost and Fire, Goldspan, and then obviously that Elrond's Epiphany. So giving us those turns. So Planeswalkers, that is what we have. Super excited and looking forward to the new set here and seeing how the vows go. So with that, Planeswalkers, again, as always, thank you. If you have a question, if you have a comment, let me know down below. Feel free to hop on that Discord server. Again, tons of information for you here on the channel. Additionally, on my website if you want to go check that out, and the list is down below for you in the description. So with that, appreciate your support as always. Appreciate the support of the YouTube members and patrons. Lots of cool stuff for us to interact. Please stay in touch and stay in tune. Great ways to do that and stay connected with us here in the multiverse. Last but not least, I will work towards getting you a nice Crimson Vow guide here. Looking forward to getting into the draft and plan to hopefully get back to some live streaming for you. So with that, Planeswalkers, again, thank you. Stay tuned because we got standard top decks coming. We're gonna get back into historic. We're gonna get some jank going. We're gonna get that live stream. We're gonna keep these tier lists coming. Friday night meta, and those what I call short stat bites for you. So stay tuned, stay safe, take care. Good luck with Crimson Vow, and we'll see you again soon. Until next time, Mythras out.